I'm your host, Jason Tartick, and welcome to Trading Secrets. We talk all things money on this podcast, and we're teaching all the stuff we just weren't taught in the classroom. Nothing supports this show more than liking, commenting, and of course, subscribing. Welcome back to another episode of Trading Secrets. Today, we're joined by the hilarious corporate bro and Ross Pomerantz. They're actually two different personalities under one home. We'll talk all about it. Someone who's lived in the high-pressure, high-performance world of corporate finance and selling at Oracle, and actually has the scars and stories to prove it. Ross brings a real, unfiltered, hilarious perspective on what enterprise sales really looks like behind the scenes, from ambition and burnout to the funny trade-offs nobody talks about unless you're deep in it. He's covering it all. In this episode, we get into the psychology of how sales sucked, turned into a massive empire. He's a speaker, investor, entrepreneur, and massive creator. Ross, let's get into it, man. It's good to have you on Trading Secrets.
Honored to be here. Welcome to my city.
Let's go. It's good to be in your city.
San Francisco.
So you are born and raised in Atlanta, right?
I moved when I was 13.
Okay.
So, I'm still a Braves fan.
Okay.
I was a baseball player, still play baseball, but, sort of adopted the Warriors when they were terrible and the Niners when they were fine. Like I was always a baseball guy in Atlanta. So I've just stayed true to that. And then I guess now I'm a bandwagon fan. Is what everyone want to call me.
Jealous. As a Bills guy, I'm jealous of that.
Wow.
You'll like this story, actually. When the Braves won the World Series, it was in Houston, and we got tickets through the Braves team somehow, and we were able to sneak into their after party.
Oh.
So we were at the after party with the Braves, with the World Series, partying our ass off. My cousin's from Atlanta. It was like the best.
God, that sounds great.
That would be like if the Bills won the Super Bowl and I snuck into that. So anyway, I had to put that out there.
Wow. Well, fine. I'm jealous.
Well, that actually connects to where I want to start with you. So I read on LinkedIn, you were a pro baseball player in an independent league, right? Not affiliated with minor.
Correct. Not affiliated is, the equvalent of single A.
Yeah.
Okay. You got guys who were former Japanese major league guys or guys who were in AAA, sort of guys on the way down and then guys on the way up.
Okay. And so you
for weird mismatch.
Mismatch. You played that for a year and a half.
I did. So 2 seasons. Yeah. Two seasons and was like, I guess I could toil around here, but when you're making $1,000 a month for 3 months, just your playing season, it's not a lot of money to live off of.
Damn.
That's why there was the whole lawsuit with minor leaguers not getting paid fair wages. And that's why most minor league guys still work construction or do camps like all summer long. You only get paid in season unless you're a bonus baby, drafted in early rounds. You get a $7 million signing bonus. You're getting paid next to nothing.
That's great. How many of those people in single A will make it to major league?
Maybe a couple.
Okay. So it's hard.
Yeah. I mean, there's 40 rounds in the major league draft. It's not like the NBA where all the first round guys end up making, the second round guys don't. I mean, there's 1,000+ guys that get drafted every year that come in.
Yeah.
And, when you get drafted in the first round of the major league draft, you're not necessarily going to be a star. They're kind of like, this guy might be good enough to be a contributor at the major league level. You might not even be like a starter. You might just be a reserve guy and you still get drafted in the first round.
Interesting.
So it's not like the NFL or NBA where if you're a first round guy, they kind of expect you to contribute heavily.
Yeah. Interesting. When you were in college, did you actually think, I just said interesting, and I saw that you just did a video making fun of people saying interesting.
So yeah, I know you don't give a shit. You're like, I don't care about that.
Next subject. Moving on.
That's okay.
I'm going to say interesting a lot today. No, I'm just playing.
No,
when you were in college, did you have was the pipe dream real about being a major league player where you're like, I'm going to ride this out as long as I can?
Oh, in my head, it was real. I had my sophomore year was talking to a couple teams.
Okay.
I actually got, like everybody else, got hurt. I was a D3 guy, so I was already a long shot. I would have been drafted probably after like the 30th round. Basically, they'll pay for your plane ticket and let you come out and play for a season. If you suck, you're gone. But I ended up tearing my lat my senior year, and that kind of went out the window. Went into selling luxury apartments in Oakland, California during the Occupy Wall Street thing. Was training, like a minor league team was coming to the Bay Area.
Okay.
So I was training in the parking garage at night.
Oh my God.
And just throwing into a net over and over again. I got invited to that spring training and ended up making that team.
Interesting.
So I kind of had this dream. I was like, I know I've got a little more in the tank. I definitely punched above my weight class. I mean, I'm 5'10", 5'11", left-handed pitcher. I didn't throw that hard. And, probably went about as far as I should have gone.
And when you're selling luxury apartments, how much can you make in a business like that?
Oh, no, I mean, not much. You're just a leasing kind of like sales associate.
Yeah.
I think I was probably making $85,000.
Okay.
It was a brand new building, but people were moving in there. Like it was not a hard sell. It was like,
in 2013, right? So, 13 years ago,
Yeah.
comparatively to what you're making $1,000 a month, I mean, like you're hitting the jackpot compared to baseball.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know I was going to take such a pay cut to go back down
Yeah.
and do that. You're living with like homestay families with three of your teammates and so forth, but good crash course in sales.
Good crash course in sales, which set you up for enterprise SaaS sales.
Yeah.
Tell me about that transition from playing pro ball to going into Oracle was your first stop, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people, when you're an athlete your whole life, that's like your identity. And I definitely went through an identity crisis of, people would see my parents. How's your son, the pitcher? How's your son? Is he still playing ball? Like, no, he's, and you're sitting there like, what the hell am I doing with my life? What am I going to do next? And like many washed up athletes, I ended up in sales. And there were a lot of ex-baseball players at Oracle. The truth is, I didn't know I was going into sales. It was called business development. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go develop some businesses. I don't know what that means, but let's do it. Oracle, the same place the Warriors play. I didn't know what Oracle did. Most people listening don't know what Oracle does.
Yeah, it's true.
It's basically the piping of all things tech, everything that like supports banks and airlines and stuff you never see. Yeah. Unimportant, but it's very expensive. And so I got there day one and just started training to make cold calls. And that's where the sadness began. That's where the pain and suffering, calling people who don't want to talk to you, that's what you get trained on. And
we'll get into your current career, but a quick transition to it. You had mentioned identity crisis. And that was then, right? 85,000 and you're making $1,000 a pro ball player. It doesn't work out. Now you got to go into sales, cold calling.
Yeah.
I want to just transition to where you're at today. In my estimation, you're making millions. Do you still have an identity crisis?
No.
Not in this space at all?
I mean, I have like the like, am I Ross? Am I corporate bro?
Right. That's kind of where I was going with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're always trying to think strategically about the business itself. Like for the longest time, I mean, people still call me Corp. Most people call me in the streets. They're like, what's up, Corp? How's it going? Like, I love that. But at the same time, there's also the side of Ross who plays corporate bro.
Sure.
Who's making business decisions, who's making the next brand step, because that's important. I think when your name's corporate bro, especially during a time in tech where bros and, even the world today, bros are not necessarily seen as not a positive, concept. I had to differentiate and sort of say, hey guys, I played this character. I also do these other things because that would prevent me from brand deals. That would prevent me from speaking gigs. We can't bring a guy named corporate bro in here because people if they didn't know who I was, they didn't know that I was satirizing this space, that I was making fun of. This is the commentary on the space.
Yeah.
They think, oh, he is that sales douche.
Yeah.
I mean, I am that sales douche, but you know what I mean? Like to that degree that, I'm embellishing and playing that character.
Fair. That makes sense. I think with Oracle, when you look at a career like that, though, it's very safe, right? You can make a ton of money. You can know that you can live there the rest of your career. I think in this creator space, which you've been in for 13 plus years, started at Vine, and you talk about that. But do you, I mean, you've done it for over a decade now, but a lot of creators that come on here, or if we get like super hot reality stars, like right off the next show and they're blowing up, their biggest concern always is longevity. Do you have that concern at all in this space?
Yes and no. I believe I'll evolve to whatever that needs to be. A lot of the content early on for me was, I'm that classic, like 20s, single tech bro. And then, now I have a kid, I'm married with a kid. And I was like, well, is this content going to play? But the truth is, like you mentioned, I've been doing this since 2013 on Vine. I have a lot of people who have been with me since then. They've grown up, they've gotten married, they've had kids, they've progressed in their careers. So like, you can always kind of find a corporate spin. At least I've realized, becoming corporate dad. What are all the identity crises that I deal with going from like closing business to changing diapers? Right. And I think the longevity thing is a fair concern, because if you would have told me years ago that offices would go away, COVID would happen, all of a sudden there's a whole generation of people that don't know what it's like to be in an office. Like that's insane.
Crazy.
And so there is an element of that where it's like, well, now I got to work in the work from home content to be relevant to those folks, which, I did work from home. So luckily I can deal with that. But yeah, I think you always kind of need to plan and think about what could be next. But at the same time, it has to come from a place of truth.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I struggled with. I was like, it got harder to make content because like, I'm not a single bro in the marina, like partying as much anymore. Like that's not who I am. How do I stay true to myself? Like that's where the best content comes from. I'm sure it's
of course, yeah.
The best stuff comes out of inspiration.
Yeah, vulnerability, relatability, connection, right?
The authentic piece. It's just like that shit hits.
It makes sense.
So I had been going through that identity crisis for a while, actually, that transition of like, what does the adult version of corporate bro look like?
Interesting. All right, we'll come back to corporate bro. If there's anyone listening right now that's thinking about getting into SaaS or enterprise sales at all, talk to me about back at Oracle. I mean, you did it for 7 years, but with different companies, right? What did it look like as far as compensation, day to day, like the high end bonuses? Give me like the full breakdown of the industry.
Yeah, I mean, I think the unfortunate truth was I kind of missed the true golden age of like tech sales, people wheeling a deal and making millions and millions of dollars. Not to say that there weren't reps making millions of dollars. They were like in their 60s though. They had been like, early days of Xerox, like printers coming up, like all through the evolution of tech and this amazing amount of value that was created. Kind of what I think is happening now with AI. And now you're seeing valuations of companies go so crazy. Like there are certain people now that are making that much money. And back then that were too, but I was a 23-year-old. I think my base was 60K. And then my OT on target earnings was 60K. Meaning for those out there, OT basically means if you hit your quota, you make an additional X amount. And so it's usually most of the time in tech, half. So 60 base, 60 more if I hit quota. And I could make more than that if I, did 200%, 110%. There's accelerators and things that allow you to make more money.
Yeah.
But you're closing $1 million deals.
Sure.
But your commission is like 0.0002% of the deal. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Then there's the subjectivity part of it.
Right.
At least it was in the banking industry, right? There's like the performance piece of commission.
Right.
And then there's another pool that's like, well, it depends how the company does.
Right. Exactly.
Based on
exactly.
that, we'll let you know what percentage.
Exactly. And then there's other people on the team who are involved. And like, don't get me wrong, there are other people that are helpful. And like with a big multi-million-dollar deals, you do need a lot of people have their hands in it, but everybody's getting a little tiny piece.
Yeah. So in all those years, what was the highest year you had in enterprise sales?
I think the highest was probably like, probably at present, like 250.
Sure. Yeah.
And
when you were in it, did you say to yourself, like at some point, I will get out of it? Or do you think for the longevity of your career, you thought you're going to be doing that?
I think the truth is I started to get kind of bored. I felt like I understood sales. Like a lot of the checkpoints are the same in terms of like how you run a sales call, how you negotiate, how you like align problems and solutions, right? All that kind of cliche stuff. But there was a part of me that was like, okay, what's next? And I think corporate bro, I was doing this on the side for 8 years. So I think I ended up selling for like close to 10 years. Decided I wanted to go to business school because I was like, I felt like because I was the funny guy, the goofy guy, I was a little bit discounted. It's like, oh, he's just like the goofy dummy who's like class clown, right? Not smart. Like we're not going to like, And so I kind of had this chip on my shoulder. I was like, well, fuck you guys. I'm going to go figure something else out. I'm kind of done with sales. What's the way to get out? For me, it was study and go to business school. And I do think sales is the most important skill there is, like, period. It's like what you guys do every day at the agency. It's like, every little decision, every little thing you want in life, like you can sell your way to it. And it just opens up everything, entrepreneurially speaking. But I was done doing it in tech.
Makes sense. We'll get into Stanford because that's where you went for your MBA, right? In a second, we'll do that. Before we do, I now know that your wife is your manager, so she's doing your selling and negotiating for you. But let's also, thank God, we'll talk a little bit about that. It's a wild dynamic. But as far as like sales and negotiating, like trading secrets, tips or tricks, people back home that aren't in sales or they could use any type of insight you could give them, whether it's they're negotiating their annual raise or whatever they're doing. What kind of sales and negotiating tactics can you provide the listeners?
Yeah, the first thing that I think is important is if you're negotiating, it means they're in. Like a lot of people are like, oh, teach me how to negotiate. I'm like, you've already kind of closed them. Like if they're negotiating a price, it means they want what you're selling, right? I think that's the first part. It's also about figuring out your position of power. Like where like how badly do they need this? How much have you conveyed that they need this? How much do they understand that they need something? So it's about kind of exacerbating their problem and kind of pulling it to light.
Yeah.
The problem is people are emotional and they may say, well, I've got $1 million problem. And you're like, well, it only costs $10,000. Like, oh, that's so expensive. And you're like, well, you just said it was $1 million problem. It's only $10,000. Isn't that like going to save you a lot of money? People don't always work like that. I think don't chase maybes. The worst thing, like no's don't hurt you. I think a lot of people think rejection is the pain. No, the pain is chasing something that you think could be yes, but you just waste all this time getting ghosted. It's kind of the principle in the relationships, I think. Like, don't just ghost people to tell them no so everyone can move on.
Right.
It's really easy that way. Also, the reality is like timing is everything. There's a lot of luck in sales.
That's true.
Like the reality is sometimes people are shopping for a solution. You happen to walk through the door that day. And then, there's other times where it's like, yeah, I appreciate it. But the reality is like, our contract with this other vendor doesn't end for 3 years.
Those are 3 good ones. Timing is everything. Don't chase everything. And if they're negotiating, they're already interested.
Sure.
I think the thing with timing is everything too, is you have to, if you're not doing the work, you're not going to get lucky, right? Like you have to put yourself in a position to get lucky. But that takes a lot.
Luck is the residue of design.
There we go. Look at the drop them, baby. Drop them. All right. We'll get back to negotiating. So Stanford MBA, you take your GMAT, right? I mean, you're working at Oracle, you're slinging the phones, cold calling. Pro baseball player. Then you go to Stanford, one of the best MBA programs in the world. Tell me about what you had to do to get in.
Well, I basically said, okay, I'm going to put all my post-work time into this. And so I got a tutor, and I basically had to relearn high school math. And even getting in, they were like, we're going to have you take an extra math class because coming from sales, there was no other salesperson in my program with me. It was all bankers. It was all
it's MBA. Yeah, there's no sales guys.
No sales guys. Which ended up being a huge advantage for me later on,
especially for presentations.
Yeah,
you guys do the work. I'll do the presentation.
Or any of these motherfuckers come in who say like, I want to found a company. Wait, how do I do it?
Yeah.
Well, you got to sell something. Oh, how do I run a sales call?
Right.
Who they call?
It's true.
Your boy.
Yeah.
Which is great.
The modeling was tough though.
The modeling just buried me. Low pass in accounting, low pass in finance, scraped by in operations. There's like all these things that just, but it gave me enough to be dangerous. Like I didn't know a balance sheet literally balanced on each side of the sheet. That's why it's called that. He knew that. That's where I was coming from. So there was a lot of extra learning that I had to do, but it was basically as soon as the workday was done, I go hide in a conference room at work, jump on with my tutor. I got my books, and I think I took GRE. I didn't do the GMAT because it was a little bit more math heavy.
Okay.
So I took it the max amount of times. I took it 5 times.
Wow.
I was just like, I have to just keep going. The best one I had was like my 3rd one.
Yeah.
Too. I can't remember what my score was. My sister, she's an MBA now, and she's trying to figure out what my scores were. I was looking them up. I can't find them anywhere.
Yeah.
But that's what it was. It was just like, I am so committed to this. And I think I studied for 8 months or something. It was like, I skipped kind of a year to kind of keep hammering it.
Yeah. Did you go full time?
Yeah.
And how much was it?
How much was it? I think it's like all in 200.
Damn.
It's like 100 a year ends up being.
Did you have to take student loans for that?
No. I come from a very fortunate background. My parents are willing to pay for my education.
That's awesome. Did you, what did your parents do professionally?
My dad's a sports journalist.
Oh, wow.
My mom just works in financial services. She just retired. And so I think like one of the things that I think is super cool in our family and that I will do for my kids is they're like, whatever you want, educationally speaking, like we will pay for it.
I love that.
Like you want to chase an extra degree, you want to take a class, you want to like go learn something, like whatever it is, like they'll do that for us.
I think my thinking is and if I'm lucky enough to have kids, I would have the kids go to school, take out a loan, understand what their loan is, work while they're in school.
Yeah.
And then assuming they just do all that, like at graduation, give them a check for it all.
Right.
So I'm like, we got to learn this shit too.
No,
so I think that is, my parents paid for my undergrad, my MBA I paid for, but that's a great principle by your parents. Like if we're going to spoil you, the one way we're going to spoil you is education.
It's awesome. Yeah. And I was always like, I mean, that's like cool, but like, felt like something cool like now. Yeah, like I want a car. That's pretty sick. No, I think it's a great principle. I love the loan thing. We just don't teach enough finance in like school.
Bro, we just don't.
There's a financial literacy is just terrible.
It's terrible. It's a mess, and all the numbers continue to show it's a mess. Right? But it's nuts. All right, let's talk a little bit about your content creating career. So you started with Vine. My understanding with Vine is that they went out of business essentially because they weren't paying creators, and creators really couldn't monetize through brand deals. When you started, did you have any ability to monetize? Were you
zero?
None at all. And how were you performing? Like, were you growing? I mean, you're growing exponentially right now.
Yeah.
Were you growing at that same rate then?
Absolutely not. I mean, look, the reality is Vine was ahead of its time. There was no machine learning algorithm. There was no like suggested sort of like content the way it is now where you see stuff that you're not following. Like it was, you had to go tag someone in a comment on a post to get someone to know who you were. And it was, people still reminisce about the days where it's like, you see what you follow. And that's like, wasn't that great? It was chronological and all those things, but they just didn't figure that out. In fact, like you could kind of see the trajectory of Vine dying around 2014, 2015, engagement sort of falling off the table. In fact, my friends were like, dude, like I'll download Vine just for you, but like, I don't use Vine.
Yeah.
And it was when Instagram basically came out with their 15-second videos that the big transition started to happen. I remember they went from 15 to 1 minute. I remember this because Gronk who I know you've had on this podcast, like he posted a 1 minute video and I was like, holy shit, they 1 minute video
where they Rob talked about for a minute.
I don't remember. I mean, it probably one thing very slowly.
Him catching a football.
Yeah. But I just remember being like, how the hell did you get 1 minute video? Like, is this a thing? And then they rolled it out to everyone else. So you went from 6-second jokes to 15 seconds where it's like, okay, I make 2 jokes. Now I got a full minute and I can do a little sketch, a little storyline, a larger piece of content.
That's what I think is really interesting, which I want to talk about, is kind of like your system, your approach, your writing, your scripting. We'll get into that. When did you start making money on social media?
I always pretty much say it took me about 7 years, not because I couldn't happen earlier. It was the same thing with baseball, where as soon as I was getting paid to throw pitches, it was a lot less fun. I felt like I was playing for my life every day, which I was. I was just waiting to get cut after a bad start. So I sort of pushed it off because I was like, the money will come. If I can grow this thing, if I can build an engaged audience, the money will come. I also wasn't putting out a piece of content every day. Like I was still working. I was still doing lots of other things in my life. My goal was to put out 1 post a week.
Okay.
I would go nights and weekends to an office that I had access to, bring a couple friends, like buy them coffee, Starbucks, whatever it is. And we would just fuck around. And, if we made 6 videos, great. We've got 6 weeks of content. Then I can go write and get inspired just by shit that would happen at work. And now it's a lot more operationalized. We're a lot further ahead in the content. I still think we post probably averages 3 to 4 times a week.
3 to 4 times a week. So 2020, though, is when you started making money.
2020 is when we started making money. It was, little things here and there. It wasn't really until I would say B2B started embracing content.
Sure.
Which is a really interesting niche. I think I got lucky that I worked in tech. I understood tech, and these tech companies didn't understand content. There's a lot of lifestyle influencers.
B2B that was lagged. I think it took a while.
It took a while.
Yeah, because obviously, like for unless you write B2C, like your beauty, your skincare, consumer packaged goods, things like that. That right now is ripping back in the Kardashian in like 2015, 16. 17.
Right, we'll give you $2 a bottle of whatever you sell.
Right,
people easy to understand, but nobody knows what Salesforce does.
Correct.
Right. Nobody knows what IBM is doing. It's like, well, they're computers, right? But what's an AI agent? And there's only a few people kind of in this space that I know of, besides myself, that are able to talk about it because we lived it.
Okay.
And again, it's not going to hit for everyone. It's not going to go viral because you're talking about AI agents, but the value of one person converting to Salesforce is potentially hundreds of thousands to more likely millions of dollars, or an IBM agent, tens of millions of dollars. What they're looking for, they know that no one's going to come watch a Corporate Bro video and be like, boy, I should rip out HubSpot and use Salesforce CRM.
Right.
But a lot of people just didn't know what CRM was.
Stands for.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your demo? Like, what's your audience look like?
If you had to guess.
I always thought so with Corporate Natalie, right? She's been on the podcast. She's a friend. We've talked about, you guys have a podcast together. I've always thought with Corporate Natalie, it's probably like a 50-50, 60-40 split towards women. And then I saw Corporate Bro. I'm like, oh, this is like the male version of what she's doing. It's going to be like a 70% men, 30% women. That's what I would guess.
It's
maybe 80-20.
It's 57. 57 male.
Wow, interesting.
43.
That's moved, I guarantee, in the last 2 years.
It has, absolutely.
Yeah, it was more male dominated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, now your stuff is just so relatable. Oh my God, when you posted the one about when you're having a martini and like you got a buzz, but then you get fucked up, like you're actually drunk. The amount of times that's happened to me as a banker, you have like 1 or 2, oh shit, it hit. Okay.
Now it's time to network.
But for 57-43, and like what's the, like, do you know the average working like profession of your audience, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, it's overwhelmingly like corporate professionals.
Interesting. Like, so you could still sell B2C. Are you still doing majority B2B deals?
Majority B2B. There's just more money. There's more money there.
Sure.
I don't want a lot of the brand deals. Like I really try to be selective about which ones I work with. Obviously I'd love to like make as much money as possible, and that's great. But like for me, I don't love spending the creative energy on brand stuff, especially when the brands are really tough to work with.
That becomes tough.
You're just like,
put you in a box.
Or they're like, you need to say this product marketing, like this game-changing tech, agentic software will, increase the ROI. I'm like, no one talks like that.
Yes.
No one fucking talks like that. So why are you making me say it like that?
Exactly.
So will I do it? Yeah, everyone's got a price, but like, I just don't want to do it that often.
Makes sense. You made $250 your highest point enterprise sales. How long did it take you to make $250 in content creation?
I think it probably took me 10 years, 2021.
Okay, so you're getting your MBA. You're not working at this
Correct.
point, and you're making.
I wasn't full-time yet.
But you're making more as a content creator than you were at your highest point in enterprise sales.
Yeah.
That's substantial.
Totally. And it's one of those things was like, there's a fear to go into content creation and own your own business and do your own thing because the business only goes as you go. If you have a bad day, the business has a bad day. There's nobody else going to pick you up and, close another deal and the team's going to hit quota because if you're not working, nothing's moving forward, which is terrifying. And I was kind of doing the like 70% in on my real job, 70% in on the, which I know that doesn't add up to 100, but the point being I was going all in on.
At what point did you go all in with content?
Right after graduation. I graduated in 2020. So it would have been 2020 and 2021 were probably where I matched the SaaS. 2022, we grew 100, 200% each year. Now we're kind of in like a low mid 7-figure yearly revenue.
It's beautiful. So you graduate with that. I just want to know, mom and dad pay $250,000 for a Stanford. Hey, you graduate and you tell them I'm going to be a full-time content creator.
Yeah. It's funny. It kind of changed when I was walking down the street with them once and these group of people came up to me like, oh my God, corporate bro, what's up? And they're like, you know them, right? And I was like, no, I don't know them. They just like the content. They're like, what?
Yeah.
But people actually like know this is like a thing. And I'm like, Mom, yes, it's a thing. It's not like not Brad Pitt, but it's a thing. We're in the tech hub of, the world.
Sure.
There's going to be some people here who've watched my stuff. They get it. I mean, they get it now. At first it was like, well, don't ruin your job prospects by saying something offensive.
Right.
It's like, Mom, I don't want those job prospects. And I think at Stanford, the thing is, they teach a lot about entrepreneurship and like going out and doing something new. A lot of people come in there and think that's what they're going to do. Then they end up going back to Bain or BCG or like McKinsey and doing what they were doing before. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't want to do that.
What do those jobs pay?
They can pay a lot. I mean, I think they're coming out of school. They're like 300 up to 500 and depends on like what projects and stuff they're working on.
In your peer group at Stanford, right? In your MBA at Stanford, you look at your peer group, you now are making, mid 7 figures in content creating and building like a material empire under it, just not based on content creating, but all these other side businesses. Are you doing the best of all your MBA Stanford grads?
No, we've had a couple of folks who have built and sold tech companies
but you got to be up there.
I would say like on a year-to-year basis, I'm definitely up there. Okay. But I mean, we've got some folks who are just like in the craziest high levels of finance who are like in VC and have hit a couple times that are in aggregate have done a lot more.
Okay. Makes sense.
And I think it is still one of those things as a content creator, like you're always trying to figure out how to scale yourself. I haven't figured out how to scale myself. I still have to go speak. I still have to make videos.
It's really hard to scale yourself.
And like, that's where it's like, let's do a little investment group here. I'm working on a CPG company because I don't want to do a tech company. I'm hopefully going to launch that in July. But like, you need to figure out how to diversify yourself and because eventually I love this stuff. I love doing it. But at some point I'm going to not want to do it.
You'll burn out.
I'll burn out.
Yeah.
And I've gone through the waves like everyone else has.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Do you have a team?
My team is my wife.
Okay.
And we have one other guy. His name is Jesse, who's just hired him back in August. He sort of helps with writing and editing. He's just very funny, like comic, wrote for The Onion, wrote for E-Bombs World back in the OG days of like the internet. How'd you find him? Went through a recruiting firm.
Okay.
Put it out there, went through the whole like process, interviewed a bunch of people, had hundreds and hundreds of applicants and sort of helped us narrow it down. Like,
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you go to a recruiter and say, I'm looking for a writer who's a comedic writer.
Yeah. Which like, when you think about writing jobs, they're so hard to come by right now. AI and everything.
Yeah,
like it's, and then let alone like writing comedy, getting paid to do that unless you're on like the Daily Show or something.
AI cannot do comedy.
No, 100% it can't. Right. No, it can't. But point being is like those jobs are in LA if you want to like write on shows and that type of stuff. So luckily he's been performing stand-up multiple nights a week for a long time. He's helped with a lot of other comics write their stuff. He's just like what he's done for me is kind of, and we're not Mr. Beast, but I'm just going to use him as an example, like very scientific about the comedy now. It's like, we're looking at the hooks. We're looking at like, what's the value someone gets? It's not like bro, it'd be so funny if we did this. Like our conversations are more like, well, what if we flip the perspective and come at it from this angle? And it's instead of laughing out loud, it's like, oh, that'd be fucking funny. Oh, that's like a really interesting way to do it. Let's like explore that direction.
Give me an example of one.
Like we just did one that was, well, I guess I'll give a more broad example. I'm very dark humor, very like satirical, very much kind of like a jaded, like existing comedy in the negative space of like making fun of things. He's like, well, what if we change it? Like go from a positive space? Like, what if we just have you like dancing out of the room like it's Friday, and like create this vibe of like feeling good. It's fun. It's outrageous because you're dancing in front of all these people in an office or in an airport. Let's just like try it. 1,000,000+ likes. Let's take the perspective of not relating because they're upset, but like give them a positive feeling of like why they're happy.
So you would typically lead, for an example, like Monday morning misery Sunday.
Yeah. Like,
and he's like, let's lead with Fridays. You're out at a party and have the best time of your life.
And give everybody like the positive like vibe.
And therefore it has more engagement because people probably
people want to feel good
connecting to
positive. Yeah, they don't want to like agree with you because they're pissed off too. They want to agree with you because they're happy too.
Yeah. I heard you talk on a podcast last March, and you were talking a little bit about your system, your structure, and like the analytics, and that it is kind of science to you how you put these videos together.
Yeah.
What is that? And I'm shocked it's only 3 people that are running your entire empire, you, your wife, and now a writer.
Yeah.
Between editing, video, everything. That's incredible.
I love editing. I think editing is just like so.
Love editing?
I love editing. Comedy.
Yeah.
Because you kind of have the vision and like
the timing of it.
The timing is just like so important. If it was like podcast editing, I would outsource that.
For my people that are listening right now, do you use a certain app or do you have any tips on editing?
I use Final Cut.
Okay.
And then I will use the Instagram Edits app.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I used to use CapCut. I
love it. Keep it simple. Keep it safe.
Yep.
All right. So talk to me about the process. Like you walk into a week. Are you analyzing certain videos that perform well? What does that analyzation look like?
Yeah.
How are you coming up with what the next week looks like? The one thing I just on top of that question is I was looking at your performance on your videos. It's insane. It's like, how is every single video hitting? Did you delete performers that yeah. Do you delete videos that don't do well? Like, how is it so? I mean, your engagement's insane.
Yeah, we've definitely in the recent months sort of found there's as an artist, like kill me. But truly, like there is a piece of you that like wants to do what you want to do. Like you have to decide who you're doing it for. And I'm sure there's like the algorithm, right? There's what you think other people want. There's what you think you want. And you think what brands want. And I think we sort of decided let me step back. We do a Monday morning meeting, all of us, me, Jesse, Becca. We look at the previous performance of 2 weeks. It's kind of 2 weeks behind. We look back. We've rated them 1 to 5. We talk about why we think something did well, why it didn't go well. Maybe we missed maybe our on-screen text didn't quite give the value promise to a viewer of what they were going to see. So they were like kind of confused. We were missing an angle here that left people like ambiguously. Are they laughing at you? Are they laughing with you? Are they feeling it themselves? Like we missed the marks on some of these things. And then we kind of do a pitch. We do a day of pitching each other. Here's just ideas, concepts. Oh, that's a positive one. Let's put that towards the end of the week on a Friday when people want to feel good. Oh, here's like one that's more Monday morning vibes when everybody's mad that we can kind of like hit on this negative side of things. Here's some evergreen stuff. Here's some things that are popping up, holidays. It's a 3-day weekend. Let's make something relevant to a 3-day weekend. Oh, it's the beginning of the year. It's recruiting season. It's interview season. It's performance review season. All those things are more relevant, now.
Sure.
And so we have 2 shoot days a week. Hopefully like Monday is kind of a admin, like pitching, planning. Tuesdays are writing. Wednesday, Thursday are often shoot days. Friday's an editing day in sort of our process. And that'll flex depending on other things we've got going on.
So for that week, this content will go out in 3 weeks, 2 weeks? How far ahead?
Yes, I would say it's about 3 weeks, but we will shuffle things in and out if we think like we have a pretty good barometer of what's going to bang and what's going to be like pretty good.
How do you know?
It's sort of an intuition, I guess, at this point, but some things will be, for instance, I did one earlier this week that was making fun of Mr. Beast, Marc Benioff, and McConaughey at the Super Bowl ad.
Yep.
We knew that wouldn't go viral. Like we knew that had no chance.
Why though?
A, it was a 90-second sketch. B, a lot of people don't know that Salesforce is doing an ad with Mr. Beast in the first place. Like C, a lot of people don't know that like Salesforce has done ads with McConaughey, that like these 3 people will probably be in the same room. It's just like a very niche sort of thing. If you're in tech, it's like, oh, they're going from Matthew McConaughey to Mr. Beast. What a swing of like who's running their social campaigns. And so, every line in there was a joke from McConaughey about like, if you didn't read his book, his book Greenlight, where he talks about how his dad allegedly had a heart attack while banging his mom. I always said my dad was going to go out making love to my mom. Like, sure you did, dude. But like, that's the first line. He goes, my dad making love to my mom. Like, if you don't know that, you don't know that that's the joke. Yeah. Marc Benioff talks about how he founded Salesforce while swimming with dolphins. Yeah. So I had this whole bit about him talking to his dolphin trainer going, Like Speaking Dolphin.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know that, connect that unless you knew. It's like kind of like deep
niche comedy.
niche comedy.
So then you're doing that with the intent for like your strong community. You're
Yes.
like, this is going to serve as very tight niche, but they're going to die laughing.
Well, yeah, and you know who's going to think that's funny is executives.
Yeah.
Who know this, who are at the top. Like that is for a very specific audience that of someone saying, oh, that's smart. Because the best performing stuff is, you know, it's my martini. It's a slow zoom with a song, me making funny facial expressions with text on screen. When you go from networking drunk to drunk, 15 seconds long, it's over. You're out. You got the value. There's something funny about the music and the facial expressions.
If you had to depict like that video right there, you knew it was going to pop. It did pop. Yep. What's the reason why? I can think of one reason why, but I'm curious what your reason is.
Well, there's a few pieces.
Okay.
It's relatable is the first one. It's like most people have been there.
Yep.
The song build, we went through 5 or 6 different songs to figure out which one we felt like crescendoed at the right. I think we went with a Radiohead. I think it's Exit Time, which also like it is exit time. Yeah. Like it's time to go, but you might not. Also like the facial timing landing on the hit of the song, like the crazy kind of psycho William Dafoe, like face like hits at the right time.
Yeah.
And you know someone's going to share that to someone else. And you get the whole thing in 15 seconds.
Relatability, sure. I mean, obviously you went into detail, but the two I came up with was relatability, shareability.
Yeah.
Do you think that's part of the equation to go viral?
Yes, 100%. I mean, Mr. Beast has said his most high-performing videos are the ones where he doesn't talk. It's just music. Music creates the feeling. You have the screen on-screen text, and people see things because it goes viral in other nationalities.
I was going to say, language doesn't matter.
Language doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, but again, you make certain things for certain reasons. Like the Salesforce video took us the most time. It performed the worst by a lot of like last couple weeks.
Sure.
But I don't regret it. I'm not taking it down. Because I want those who know will know, and they'll know extra hard.
How do you decide when you're going to take a video down? It just flops?
Yeah, I never take it down. I just hide it off the main page.
Yeah.
You know, if people want to scroll and they see that it's got, you know, a tenth of the views to another, and they probably infer that it's not as good. There's times when it's just like, this one was for me. I think it's fucking funny.
Yeah.
If you're not a weirdo like me, it's not gonna be funny to you either. So
one thing is like last March when you did that podcast, I'm sure if I asked you that same question, what makes it pop? You probably would say the same thing, relatability and shareability, but something's changed since then, right? I think you said you had 700,000 followers then. Yep. Now I have over 1 million. So something's changed. So what do you think has changed? Like if you look in the mirror, you look at your career, you look at the content, like something else has had to change other than saying relatability and shareability. What is it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I really think it's just like studying the human, like it's looking at it in a more scientific way. It is just simply looking at like, what am I promising? What are they getting? What does it make them feel? Like being able to answer more questions rather than just be like, oh, I think like early on in comedy, like you think things are funny and you're not sure why. You can't like explain it.
Yeah.
But it's relatable. But like, why is that relatable? Like what we just talked about. It's like all those elements have to work in conjunction. I would have said, oh, it's just funny because like it's related. Like relatable is a very broad stroke, but why is it relatable?
Interesting. Yeah. The promising, the getting, the feeling, and the why. I think that's like a good equation right there that summarizes it pretty well.
Right. And I think that's what we miss a lot of times. Like our on-screen text might just send people down the wrong rabbit hole, and then they're not given the payoff that they're looking for.
Interesting.
And the payoff is a mismatch, and therefore like, oh, this isn't what I thought. And then it becomes one of those negative social videos where it feels like you're draining yourself. Like why we hate doom scrolling. If you're not hitting the jackpot, if you're not paying off,
not laughing, showing your wife, showing your friend.
Yeah, then you just wasted time and you're like, oh, why am I scrolling? You scroll again, looking for the feeling that you didn't just get.
When you guys do your 2-week review, when you look at where you missed and where you excelled, where often is the number one miss?
Where is our number one miss? I think it's this is so broad and lame, but like execution, like we have the right human insight. We just didn't deliver it the right way. Like that video you mentioned earlier about be interesting. We followed another concept that we did earlier where it was like, if small talk was honest, it's like, how you doing today? Like fucking terrible. Right. Like, and it's just a bunch of quick hitters like that. This was the same thing, but it didn't quite fulfill, like deliver on, like the sarcasm wasn't quite there. Like there was we haven't totally figured it out, but it was like that structure had worked for a different video. It was probably the wrong structure to apply to like an interesting, like that's so interesting video. Like now I'm kind of coming off as just like a dick. And you can't totally tell like if you're supposed to relate or you're supposed to know that person. Like if it's supposed to be you or if it's supposed to be them. And so it just like didn't do well.
Yeah.
But I know there's like a lot of us sit out there and say, oh, that's crazy. Oh, like there's someone's rambling on, oh, crazy, man.
I think that's crazy is probably the most overused word right now. That's crazy.
Right. We just didn't hit the insight the right way.
Yeah.
But we know it's there. It's just like the execution of it.
Should do a video on the different tones of that great. Because I'd be like, oh, that's crazy. That's great. That's great.
Exactly. No, there is. And then that, like, there's your insight. It's like, how do we execute that? Do we need to show someone else saying something for you to respond to it?
Yeah.
Like, are they saying something worthy of you being that person or not? Like, these are all the questions that we were sitting there asking ourselves. And we don't know the right answer necessarily. But
one of the things we talked about earlier, even before we started recording, was your relationship with corporate Natalie and how you guys started helping one another. TikTok wasn't your thing. It was her thing. One of your things was scripting and writing. I think majority of people that listen to this, if they're doing content, they're definitely not scripting. Majority, not all. Yeah. And I could say for majority of even creators I represent, they're not scripting. They have an idea of what they're going to do, and then they just do it and let it rip.
Yeah.
But you write out every single video you do, right?
Most of them. Yeah.
And what does that writing process look like? And for someone at home that's trying to make, let's say they're trying to script something for their business or for their new page, like where do you tell them to start with that process of scripting?
I mean, it's just kind of a brain dump. And then you know, it's like molding clay, right? And just hacking things away. I think on social media, you do need to front load the value or create the hook, right? Like it's just, in comedy for us, it's like, let's put the funniest lines at the front. If they get to the end, like we've already given them enough value that like it may not end exactly as well as it started, but you've gotten them through it, because the amount of times people just scroll past you is, I mean, it's most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah.
Right. So
especially these days, attention span's like nothing.
It's nothing. And so it's, can a video be multiple videos? Like I think, again, I would love to make longer form stuff and write movies and so forth, but the attention span, and most people are on their phones now in movies. Like I think it was Matt Damon. Someone just
it was Matt Damon.
Yeah.
The movie was ripped.
You got to restate those premise like the
premise 5 times.
Yeah.
So yeah. Like otherwise, because people are looking at their phone.
Exactly. Crazy. And so, but it's the same thing with like writing for us is, you're going to waste a lot of time being like, wait, what am I going to do? At least you have a plan. Like a lot of our stuff is improv. Let's try it this way. Let's do something else. Just say shit. Mm-hmm. But at least we know we're going to get what the baseline was. And then it always like improves off of that. I think that's sort of just like having a plan. Anything you do is good.
Yeah.
Improv is obviously great. And we do a lot of that. But if it was just improv, we would miss the mark a lot, because we still want to think about, what are these lines delivering on?
Yeah.
Why are they funny?
Gotcha.
You know, why do they matter? They do matter, because you only get so many seconds of someone's attention.
Yeah. Interesting. I like it. When you're talking about, let's go back to the sales days, right? It was a dream to be like sales guy of the year, or to get the Top Gun Award,
yeah,
or to make the President's Club or whatever. Yeah. If you look at your content creator profession, what's your Top Gun Award? What's your President's Club like in a deal you did? Tell me about the deal, maybe if you can.
Yeah,
what you had to deliver, maybe the amount if you can, whatever. Just give me like your Top Gun Award for a deal.
I would say for me now, the Top Gun Award was doing the ad with Matthew McConaughey for Salesforce that played during the Olympics. And yeah, I got like a 1 second cameo in the ad. Fine, but you got it. But I got it. And I also did a lot of content for them on the side, like the social side of the same campaign.
Okay.
So I was kind of like the outlaw bad guy AI. I represented kind of like what's wrong with AI, and McConaughey is the hero. And so in the ad, he kind of walks through a saloon, looks at all of us. He's kind of talking about how there's a lot of bad actors now in AI, and he throws us out of the saloon. And so I got to have a stunt double get launched out of a saloon door.
That's cool. Check that off the resume.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I got to be on set with Matthew McConaughey. I got to be on TV during the Olympics, and then I got to make content on the side that supported. And we won a bunch of awards. Salesforce won a bunch of awards for the campaign, and so that was that whole thing was about all is equaled 1 year of SaaS sales.
250K.
Yeah.
Got it. It's awesome. Congrats. Quick. So now that you're at it, you obviously never studied acting, but you do acting. You have a short film, and then you see a guy like Matthew McConaughey. One question I've always had about acting is, I hate to say it, how talented do you have to be an average actor? Like, you're seeing some of the best actors. You've been around actors. You've done short films. Obviously, we know there are the Timothée Chalamet's, the best of the Leonardo DiCaprio's, the Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
But like an average to above average actor, you have no training. You do it pretty fucking good. Like, what's your take on that?
With acting, there's just such a surplus of talent and not enough acting jobs. Like,
which would support my yes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of people that are like very solid actors, and now in Hollywood, unless you're, the top of the top, like you're doing other shit. Like you're not living off of acting. And also with Hollywood, they're casting such specific people that there's going to be someone out there that looks, sounds, is exactly like what they're looking for. And it'll be like their only acting job they ever get, you know, rather than like a Chalamet who can play a bunch of different characters, or DiCaprio who can just like morph into these people. That is just like so elite, and they can flip it so quickly. McConaughey, like, maybe a hot take, like McConaughey kind of plays McConaughey in everything he ever did.
I think majority of the best actors are the same way. Like I think like Jennifer Aniston plays Jennifer Aniston.
Right.
Like Adam Sandler.
Right. Oh, Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler's the man, but Adam Sandler plays Adam Sandler.
Right.
I think that's a lot of.
Yeah, but then you've got like Daniel Day-Lewis who can just like morph into like
that's true
anything, and you're like, holy shit, like that is not the same.
That's not the same.
But I mean, it works. I mean, McConaughey's got, you know, he's one of the most legendary actors of all time. But I think at the end of the day, watching him on set, it was like, I don't feel like you're acting right now, bro. Like, did he nail every take? Did he get every take, like with slight variations and not miss a line? Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Granted, it was 15-second, you know, Salesforce ad, but like,
I mean, like Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci is Joe Pesci.
Right.
Like,
right.
So
there's a lot of folks that just like, they're just
caricatures.
Yeah. They're entertaining.
So they just play their caricature.
They've got charisma. They got the riz, if you will. And so I think some people just kind of have it, and they get identified and they get built up, and, you know, there's a piece of the industry that like props these folks up and gives them kind of the visibility and credibility.
Makes sense.
And there's a lot of people that could easily do that too. Okay. Just don't get it.
Good answer. I thought we would agree on that. I want to transition to LinkedIn. Majority of people that listen here do not look at LinkedIn.
Everyone's pressing that 15-second skip thing right now. It's just like,
they're like, I'm not talking about LinkedIn. The place where everyone just announces their next promotion.
Yep.
No, but you've nailed LinkedIn from a business perspective, and you're monetizing off it. How are you monetizing off LinkedIn? What recommendations would you give people?
I mean, the first recommendation is get on LinkedIn. Like, I know LinkedIn's cringy, LinkedIn's all these things. Every artist, every rapper, every like content creator is cringy until it starts working.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you're always an imposter.
That's
like,
a good take.
I don't know, like go listen to, I mean, Eminem is one of the greatest, but like his early stuff is like cringy as shit. But then he started to get good. And I think that's the first thing. So LinkedIn is just a very, like, it's like YouTube in 2010. Like the opportunity is there. There's nobody else is there.
No one's there.
Like it's just an opportunity, and they're trying to move towards that classic or new age social media style of scroll and algorithmic interest-based algorithms. And I'm just saying, like, it is a great spot to get, like, brands are there. You're not user 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're Ross Pomerantz, Oracle, Glassdoor. Like the users are real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can't really hide because
it's your whole profile.
It's your whole profile.
Life. It's your network.
So the individual value of a single person seeing your stuff on LinkedIn is so much higher than user 91012 on TikTok, who's worthless.
How do you make money on LinkedIn?
Post. I mean, the same thing as on any of the other ones.
Like pay per post.
Pay per post.
How do they analyze your rate? Is it like a CPM or like what type of analytics?
No, I mean, like, you know, there's no science to it at this point. Like, it's sort of we charge my 170,000 followers on there, so a fifth of what I have on Instagram, and I think I would say we charge probably like 10% more than what we would on Instagram because of the value
of a follower.
And like, again, at B2B, again, lucky in the B2B space, but like that's where professionals are. If you're trying to sell a professional software or a tool, like people are on that.
Obviously, we've talked about a mid 7-figure business in your social, but like in LinkedIn, are you making over $100,000?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen any deal flow on LinkedIn. So
so it's like, it's so early right now.
Yeah.
Is the truth. And I think it's like, yes, you probably do need some business lean towards it. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm sure you're putting these podcasts, like clips out there. I mean, they're starting to
like, don't even put it on LinkedIn. I have them honestly, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, but like,
yeah, I mean, this
will be the first episode.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta put it out there. I mean, I think that's like the thing though, is like Mark Cuban's posting on there, and Kevin, like the Shark Tank folks are on there. Like, you're starting to see people just even talk about their the businesses they're running, the business behind the business, the business behind the creator. And like, people are interested in that stuff.
How often do you post on LinkedIn?
I mean, I post, so I have two accounts. I have my Ross account, I have a Corporate Bro account. That's a longer story, mostly that I got kicked off of LinkedIn back in the day for my videos. I wasn't a real person. That's why. I was posting as Corporate Bro.
Yeah.
I had all these, anyway, now they're cool with it. Now they're like, hey, you want to be part of our creator program? Be Corporate Bro. And I'm like, how dare you? Fuck, you fired me in 2019. I had to make 2 separate profiles. But I think it's just one of those things where it's so early. Nobody's quite figured it out. it's a huge opportunity just to put content on there, and it's becoming interest-based. So like there's no real risk. It like gets pushed out to certain people. If they like it, great. If not, like there's just such little risk there.
Yeah.
Right
Makes
now.
sense. Why not? Just
Don't make stuff for LinkedIn
Yeah.
at this point. Just put what you're already making.
Case what you're already doing.
Yeah.
All right. Another question. We talked about negotiating. I saw on Gotham Artists. This is public information out there, by the way. Your speaking fee is 20 to 30,000. Is that accurate? Is it less? Is it more?
It's not accurate. It's more.
All right, Gotham, step it up.
Yeah, I don't really think I worked with Gotham. I don't know how they know that. But I mean, the truth is I do like
your profiles out there.
Yeah, I guess so. Let's just say it's higher than that. But it's a range of things I do. I will do keynotes. I will do MC events. It's the classic. It depends. Like how many days do you want me there? I do like game shows now. I like host kind of corporate game shows, get people involved, like I do roasts and toasts and like.
Will you do stand-up?
I don't call it stand-up because that's too much pressure, but yeah, it's all comedy. I'll do like unhinged keynotes about why sales is the best and why marketers don't do shit.
It's like, first of all, I love that. Second of all, I feel like stand-up comedians are just like, that's the launch pad. Like look at Matt Rife and Nikki Glaser. Like it just seems like it's the launch pad.
Yeah, it's
for like next level, I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, yes and no, but like you make so much more doing a corporate event than you ever will going at, the comedy club, comedy store, right? Sure. Those things. Like, sure, if you want to be quote unquote mainstream and go on like the tours and do that thing, but it's like I could probably do 5 or 6 corporate events in a year and do like what someone had to do for 3 months in a tour.
Makes sense. All right, but also there's the business side of you, right? Like it looks like you're an advisor to a bunch of companies. On your LinkedIn, saw that you have a small investment group. Like these other areas are you sell merch, you got mugs out there.
Yeah, we got mugs.
But on like the advisor front, and then the small investment group, talk to me about that. What's it look like?
It's just a syndicate, angel syndicate, off angel lists called Corp Capital. And our joke is that our little like logo is the poop emoji, but color with a horn on it and like color of unicorn because we just do unicorn shit.
Yeah.
So that you can tell how serious it is. It is. I mean, it's small. Like we're doing, there's 500 or so people, LPs in our little group. I would say we've done 12 or 13 deals, average deal size 100K. So we're just like tacking on. Like it's just an opportunity. I get a lot of deal access. I get to do a lot of angel investment on my own. And it was kind of like, maybe I can, get a little bit of carry here. It's none of it's ever going to be meaningful really, but like bring the audience in, connect sort of the sales folks and the Stanford experience. Cause sales folks, like in tech, it's like you got a 4-year vesting period. You got a 1-year cliff. People don't realize that you can get equity in other companies without working there. Like, and sales folks, like they spend money on stupid shit. Like, so why not put this stupid shit with me, angel investing. And so it's all tech stuff, but it was sort of a way to bridge that gap. And, so I think our total deployed is like 1.5 million, over like a year. And of course we started in like 2022, like the worst possible vintage for tech.
Like worst case scenario.
Like literally worst case scenario. But it's
moving. It's moving.
Yeah, it's not nothing.
All right. When you have a massive exit, you're going to come back on.
Yeah.
The last topic I think we got to cover is this topic of love and money. Your wife is your manager.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges in working together?
It's going to make this sound worse than it is, but like we run a lot of our relationship like it's business. Like we do our quarterly check-ins. We have our personal goals. We have our professional goals. We go through those. Like,
I think it's
stuff with our kiddo. I mean, she's just very operational, like dates, scheduling, negotiate, like tracking all these things. And I'm just like, I put one thing on the calendar that that's a miracle, but then B, I put it for the wrong year. So like, it's just like, it doesn't work. I just suck at that stuff.
Your weaknesses are strengths.
Yes. And I think I had an assistant at one point and it just took me as long to tell her what I needed than just do it.
Mm.
But now it's like we go to the gym together. We go on coffee walks together. We can discuss these things kind of in the fabric of our life as it is. There are times where she will come in and I'm, sitting cross-legged playing video games with my boys. And she's like, hey, what do you want to do this? I'm like, now? Baby, you got me killed. Like, so we have moments where it's like, let's just not deal with this now. But at the end of the day, we work 7 days a week, but we can also go on like a golf date on a Tuesday if we want to.
Hell yeah.
So I think it's understanding that both of us we have the same goal, just to be like a badass power couple, like be as successful as we can. And yeah, there's times where it's like, let's celebrate some wins. Let's go out to dinner. Let's like give baby boy to grandma and grandpa.
Okay, next time we're going to do a full episode of this, Becca, you're going to be on the 1s and 2s with us. We're going to get the real answer.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, no.
We're going to
what do you think the biggest issue is?
I think the hardest thing is turning it off.
Turning it off?
For sure.
Yeah.
Turn it off. She says turn it off.
Turn it off.
Turn it on.
Turn it off. Turn it on. Get on it. All right. Last thing before I get your trading secret. What's next? Like, what's the dream career-wise? 3-5 years from now, what does it look like?
I think the next piece for me is like, I want to get back to building. Like, I do a lot of the startup stuff, but I'm so over tech right now, just generally speaking. And it's like, look, I get it. It's doing a lot of cool things. I'm not a builder of tech. Like, I can't do it myself. I can build brands. And so I'm moving into the CPG space. I want to be in every single corporate space.
Like,
yeah. It's going to be a beverage.
Okay. Alcoholic,
non-alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a functional beverage. Something that hopefully people will drink. It'll, instead of an energy drink or coffee or both, it'll be in that space. I'm still sort of like working on the formula of what that will be, but I want to be in every corporate fridge in America. I want to be in everybody's fridge for like when they need something to get to do what they need to do in their life to do it better. That's where I'm trying to play in there.
All right, when you're ready to promote
caffeinated, it will be caffeinated. So let's just say that.
A little pick me up, a little corporate bro pick me up.
Yeah, that's the hope.
All right. Well, more to come on that. We have a lot of following up to do because you got a lot of dreams and aspirations.
I got a lot of dreams.
From the days of playing pro ball to where you're now, slinging in millions. All right, give us a trading secret. You got to wrap us with one trading secret. I feel like you've given us a lot today, but you can't learn it in a textbook or from a professor on a TikTok tutorial, only from you. What can you give us?
Oh, man. Well, here's one thing that I will say. I do a lot of creator panels. I get a lot of like kids ask, saying like, hey, when I grow up, like I want to be an influencer or like I want to be a YouTuber. It's crazy, by the way. It's crazy. And then my follow-up with them is like, for what? And they're like, they don't know. They just want to be rich and famous. And I basically say, you need to figure out what do you love so much you can't stop talking about. And that even like in the darkest days, you can sit there and rationalize yourself. And you're like, it's hard today, but like, I still fucking love it at the end of the day. And for me, it was making people laugh and talk about the pain of my job because I was living it every single day. And I spoke that truth. That was my truth. And it turned into a business. I wish I could tell people, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to build this like content business. It's going to be like a B2B thing because that's like worth so much money. But it wasn't that. It was just me living my life and talking about my life because I could talk infinitely about my life because that's the shit I was dealing with. And so I think it's finding that perspective and just going hard at that. Like if you like Dungeons and Dragons, which I do, and it's on my mind all the time, go all in on Dungeons and Dragons. If you want to talk about like your work stuff, you want to talk about your health stuff, everyone's like, oh, it's so saturated. It's not saturated. If like you're speaking your truth, it will just be better. So it's authentic. We all want to be rich and famous, but it's like, for what? Find the passion. The passion is the money. Right. Passion leads to money.
I love that. So that's that idea of being authentic. But to get there, like look in the mirror, see what the hell you like. Like, what do you naturally, when you have free time, what do you naturally gravitating yourself?
Exactly.
What are you consuming? What are you eating? What are you reading? What are you watching?
Right.
Behind that, there could be many billion-dollar businesses.
It's like what I would think about, like all this stuff. Like, did you know you wanted to do this growing up? And I'm like, I didn't. But if I look back, whenever my cousins came to town, I was taking the camcorder out and shooting like home videos. No one ever said go to film school. When I was on plane flights, I would like write these short stories that were in comedy. They tried to make my brother, sister, family laugh. I would like, write it by hand. And then I'd read it at the end and, hopefully they would laugh at like the signs were there that I like doing creative stuff. But in my mind, I was like, oh, if I'm not a baseball player, I'm going to be successful in business, whatever. But like it turned out content, like that was the passion. Yeah. It did lead to the business. It did lead to the success, but it was like, I like creating.
I love it. It's a hell of a trading secret, and there's many more in this episode. Make sure to give us 5 stars. Let us know what you guys thought and your biggest trading secret. But you got to tell us, where can people find you? Definitely on LinkedIn. Definitely on LinkedIn. Where else can they find
my real name on LinkedIn or Corporate Bro on LinkedIn? Corporate Bro everywhere else. Okay. Corporate.bro.
Good stuff.
The important dot, but yeah.
I love it. Well, when you go A-list actor, when you sell the CPG company, you and Becca are coming back on.
Yeah, she's got a lot to say, so I'm sure that would be a wonderful episode.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. We're running it back. Corporate Bro, Ross, thank you so much for being in Trading Secrets.
Of course. Thanks for having me.